Hey, 5.2 Step 2, how to mark the prologue and parados. Let's go. So we were talking about the form of the play already, that we've got this prologue and parados and the different scenes, nodes, and exodos, right? This is how it's organized. And what I want you guys to do right now is to just mark in the text exactly how I've divided up the 3 reading deadlines, okay? So you know right now the prologue and the parados is our first reading deadline. Let me tell you about all of the readings and exactly what I want you to read for when, all right? So mark your play now. Grab your play. Do you have it? Bust it out, please. Got your play? All right. So the pages are already numbered for you. I wrote those on the top right, and the lines are numbered by the original publication, so those are helpful. But now let's number the sections based on the reading deadlines. Okay, so reading 1 is the prologue and the parados, and that includes pages 2 through 4 for the prologue, 4 through 5, ending at line 50, which is divided into 3 strophic pairs. So just know that you're reading pages 2 through 5 for reading 1. And I think it would be smart to draw a big line under line 50 on page 5, right before it says scene 1. All right, so do that right now. Maybe you could also circle the word prologue on page 2, circle the word parados on page 4, highlight them in yellow perhaps. This is reading 1. All right. Then reading 2 is scene 1 through ode 2. So scene 1 starts on page 5. Circle scene 1. Maybe highlight it in orange. Circle ode 1. Maybe highlight it in orange. It's divided into 2 strophic pairs. Scene 2 circle, highlight in orange perhaps. It's divided into 2 strophic pairs as well. And then ode 2 is the last part that you're going to read for reading 2. Circle or highlight in orange. It includes 2 strophic pairs. So reading 2 is from pages 5 all the way through 15. Reading 3 is going to be scene 3 through the exodos. So it starts on page 15. Why don't you circle the words scene 3 on page 15? And then ode 3 starts on page 17. It's divided into 1 strophic pair. Scene 4, pages 18 to 19. Circle that. Highlight this stuff in green maybe. Ode 4 is on pages 19 through 20, and that's divided into 2 strophic pairs. And then we have the exodos, pages 20 to 24. And it has 2 strophic pairs as well. All right, did you mark all that in your text? Good stuff. Now, as we're reading together as a group, you're going to want to circle keywords and define them in the margin. Look for things like proper nouns, references to Greek mythology, allusions, Greek words you don't know, words that repeat, words whose meanings are ambiguous. If the word has more than one possible meaning, look it up and try to pinpoint how it's being used in context and define it. The next step is to underline important facts. Look for key details about characters, key background information, important plot events, important revelations, like when those reversals happen. Those would all be good things to underline. The next part is highlighting interesting writers' choices regarding language. This is the biggie. So take notes on this however you like. What I decided to do was to look at the first 15 lines of the play with you and look at diction, imagery, sensory details and allusions, language that shows the tone of the speaker, structural choices that are interesting, and references to common motifs in the play. And so you could jot this stuff down in your notes or whatever else you like to put in your notes. I just do want you to take some notes here. All right, so I'm going to try this color marking feature that I have here in my handy dandy Screencast-O-Matic. And let's take a look at the first 15 lines. It starts with a prologue. Oedipus says, "My children, generations of the living in the line of Cadmos, nursed at his ancient hearth, why have you strewn yourselves before these altars in supplication with your boughs and garlands? The breath of incense rises from the city with the sound of prayer and lamentation. I would not have you speak through messengers, and therefore I have come myself to hear you. I, Oedipus, who bear the famous name," to a priest. "You, there, since you are eldest in the company, speak for them all. Tell me what preys upon you, whether you come in dread or crave some blessing. Tell me, and never doubt that I will help you in every way I can. I should be heartless were I not moved to find you suppliant here." Or suppliant? Somebody tell me how to pronounce that. I think I got it wrong. So the first thing that we're asked to look at is diction, repetitions, interesting word choices. I highlighted Cadmos. I guess that's an illusion. Maybe you want to circle it and write the definition in the margin. However you want to deal with it, that certainly should be dealt with. If you look down in the bottom of the page, you'll see that little 3 again. It's a footnote, right? And it says founder of Thebes. So we know that is the founder of Thebes. And we, just jotting that down will help demystify that. Oop, not theme. Thebes. Demystify that name. Of course, it's also listed in the footnote, so maybe you're like, why should I write that down? It's already in the footnote. That's valid too. Something else that I noticed as I was reading is that there are some words in the text that seem to be more figuratively used, and they tend to compare humans to animals or personify things that aren't human. And so I noticed this first in strewn. Why have you strewn yourselves before these altars? So the word strewn connotes flowers or other such objects being thrown down. But here we have humans who have strewn themselves before the altars. We also have breath of incense. That incense is being personified here as something that can breathe. And then later, he says, "Tell me what preys upon you," as if this plague is some kind of hunter or animal that is preying on its victim. And so that's some interesting word choice that I noticed that you could mention. Then if I were to look at imagery in the poem, that might bring us some more meaning. And let's see, what do we have for imagery? I suppose we have some imagery here. Breath of incense rises from the city, and sound of prayer and lamentation. We have our sight evoked, our smell evoked, our hearing evoked as well. And what other good strewn yourself. Best imagery maybe comes early in this text. How about illusions? We might say that Cadmus is an illusion. We might also notice the significance of boughs and garlands. And altar. These are all religious words, right? Words having to do with their religion. And we might look this up online and find more information about how that has to do with the text. Supplication, I suppose, would fit here too, and we've got that word twice. We have it here in a different form. What else we got? How about tone? Is that this next thing? What are some good words or phrases that show tone? I like, I would not have you speak through messengers, and therefore I have come to hear you myself. I, Oedipus, who bear the famous name. So his tone, what is his attitude here? His attitude is, I am humbling myself to you. This is how much I care. I'm a great man, and yet I'm speaking directly to you, the regular inhabitants of Thebes. And we see that a little bit more down here. Never doubt that I will help you in every way I can. I should be heartless were I not moved. And so once again, he's showing how he personally cares about them, even though he is the one in power. Let's see. So those are the kinds of things. Oh, I guess one other thing, maybe my children, I guess, at the very top. He refers to them as children. There probably are kids there, but no, they're not all kids, right? But they're his children because he is hierarchically on a higher level than they are. And so you could look at that a couple of ways. You could look at like he's looking down on them. He's sort of speaking down to them, but also that he cares for them like a ruler should for his residents, for the citizens of his city, because he is in a place of more power and has that obligation to take care of them. All right, so these are the kinds of things that I want you to do as you're reading. You don't have to mark up every single line like I've done here, but I just wanted to show you the kinds of things you want to be looking for as you're reading. And then, of course, the other items that are really important are the motifs. Anytime where you hear about sight and blindness, light and darkness, and belief in gods. And we did get some of the belief in gods in bright pink here. All right, have fun as you read this play. I hope you enjoy.